Hello, you're watching Afghan News with Mohsen Jamal. The Pakistani cabinet on Tuesday decided to boycott the Bonn conference on Afghanistan in protest against a NATO airstrike that left 24 Pakistani troops dead. The Pakistan military rejected NATO's version that Pakistani forces provocation led to air firing on border posts, even as Prime Minister Yusuf Raza Gilani claimed that there would be no business as usual with the US bends forth. The Prime Minister's bold claims came at a time when large-scale protests were organized in Pakistan against the incident on Saturday, when NATO and International Security Assistance Force fighter jets and helicopters from Afghanistan targeted two Pakistani military border posts. The Pakistan military also rejected the regret expressed by the NATO chief under Rasmussen for the cross-border airstrike and warned that the action could have grave consequences. A day earlier, the United States asked Pakistan to attend the conference on Afghanistan in Bonn early next month. NATO's US-led force in Afghanistan will retain its troops by December 5th on how to avoid civilian casualties following fresh accusations of civilian killings, according to President Hamid Karzai's office. The move comes with NATO already facing uncomfortable fallout after an airstrike that killed 24 Pakistani troops near the Afghan border on Saturday. Karzai's office quoted a letter from Commander General John Allen as saying he had issued orders for all units to conduct retaining on their methods of employing force against insurgents while protecting Afghan civilians. The International Security Assistance Force could not immediately confirm the letter. The issue of civilian casualties has long been highly sensitive in Afghanistan and has fueled tensions between Karzai and his Western backers. France announced Monday that it would withdraw another 200 soldiers from Afghanistan by the end of the year after transferring command of 2 districts to the Afghan army. The reduction is part of the Afghanization of the war, which is supposed to be completed by the end of 2014. Another 200 soldiers returned to France in October. France now has about 3,800 troops in Afghanistan and will fall to 3,600 by the end of the year, according to Colonel Thierry Burkhardt, the French military spokesman. To date, 76 French soldiers have died in Afghanistan. The surge of coalition forces in Afghanistan has worried General Martin Dempsey, chairman of the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff, has said. Dempsey welcomed the endorsement of more than 2,000 delegates at the recent Loya called by Afghan President Hamid Karzai of a proposal for a long-term security agreement between Afghanistan and the United States. He said NATO and the Afghan government are making progress in the effort by Afghan forces to take over responsibility for the country's security by the end of 2014 as foreign forces withdraw. The general said there will have to be some partnership agreement between Afghanistan and other countries beyond 2014. Afghan and NATO-led forces during a joint operation in Khost province captured a local leader of the Haqqani network on Tuesday. A statement of the alliance released here said the statement asserted that the Haqqani network leader was captured by a combined Afghan and coalition security force during an operation in Sabari district of the province. Without giving the name of the arrested man, the statement added that the facilitator distributed roadside bombs and planned attacks against Afghan forces. Haqqani network is the military wing of Taliban outfit operating in the eastern provinces along the border with Pakistan and the capital city of Kabul. Taliban militants have not commented on the issue yet. Australian police have arrested a Sydney man after finding $30 million Australian dollars worth of drugs in a shipment of resins from Afghanistan. Australian Federal Police said Tuesday they have charged the man with importing a commercial quantity of drugs. Police say this is 216 kilograms of heroin and pseudoephedrine hidden in boxes of resins shipped from Afghanistan earlier this month. The man charged in connection with the drug bust is expected to appear in court later Tuesday and faces up to life in prison and a fine of 825,000 Australian dollars if convicted. United Nations investigators have released a new report accusing senior Syrian government officials and leaders of the country's military and security forces of ordering mass atrocities in efforts to crush anti-government protests since March. The Independent Commission of Inquiry on Syria said on Monday that Syrian government forces committed crimes against humanity, including the killing and torturing of children, and held state officials responsible for murder, rape, and torture. The panel interviewed 223 victims and witnesses, including defectors from President Bashar al-Assad's security forces, who told of shoot-to-kill orders against demonstrators and cases of children being tortured to death. At least 256 children had been killed by government forces as of early November, with some boys sexually tortured, the panel said in its report to the UN Human Rights Council. The report came a day after the Arab League approved economic sanctions against Syria in an attempt to further isolate the Assad government over its response to the 8th-month uprising, which the United Nations says has killed at least 3,500 people and resulted in tens of thousands of others being imprisoned.
To disperse civilian crowds, resorting to
the United States President has said his country stands ready to do its part to help Europe solve its deepening debt crisis following a summit with EU leaders at the White House. While Barack Obama offered no specifics on how the United States may be willing to assist Europe, he said Europe's financial success was crucial to the U.S. economy. Obama hosted European Council President Herman Van Rompuy, European Commission President Jose Manuel Barroso, High Representatives Catherine Ashton, and other officials for talks dominated by the Eurozone crisis on Monday. In a joint statement, both sides said they would take all necessary steps to end the continent's debt crisis. During this summit, the United States and the European Union forged a high-level group to promote jobs and growth that will be staffed by the European Commissioner for Trade and the United States Trade Representative.
While at the same time...
That's all for now. Thanks for staying with us.